Hey everybody, it's John. Wanted to hop on and talk about something that came out of a training recently, and it's basically the question of how hacking music works, and that's a fair question as there's a lot of specifics in hacking music. There's a lot of depth at the same time. So let's take a few minutes to kind of talk about this. With artists, there's, the top tip of the iceberg is what most people see. It's the passion, it's the fun, it's the writing, recording, being in the studio, being on stage, connecting with fans, right? It's the high touch stuff that is absolutely essential to being a thoroughbred headliner level artist, right? Then underneath that, there's a ton of support mechanisms. What people don't see, they're kind of the visibly invisible platform part of an artist's career. It could be staging experiences, productization, teams, e-commerce, super songs, doing deals, automation, SaaS backend, project management, mental models and mindset training, that kind of stuff that people don't see, but it's super important to the widget, the music up top. And it's been said that an artist's back office makes the front office possible. So what does that mean? A front office is the music. It's the experience you create for your fans, whether it's on stage, in the studio recording, or just connecting, right? It could be streaming, right? It's the front office. It's the fun, visceral, great stuff that an artist creates, right? And the back office is the stuff that allows for that to be monetized, right? It strengthens, supports, and sells the widget, or the music in our case. So let's talk about 4 tenets of hacking music. There's 4 tenets, and those are talent, training, technology, and team. Let's say that again. Your talent, your training, your technology, and your team. These are 4 consistent things that all thoroughbred headliner level artists have. These are tenets, they're tent poles that we're going to build around, right? So let's drill down on each of these here. So your talent includes kind of your music. You should be able to take care of that, right? Or if you don't have that, there's nothing, really to talk about in a sense. So you have your talent, like you're responsible for that. You're writing, you're recording, that stuff. Your show, your fans, that's the fun, squishy stuff, right? And the myths, these are the training includes kind of the mythology that's so prevalent in the music world today. So we need to unplug some of that low resolution thinking, some of that stuff that exists that most people believe that's completely untrue. So we're going to unplug those myths and replug in some high resolution thinking, kind of reprogram the computer in a sense. Your mindset, your force multipliers, your strategic frameworks. Some people go to university for this and they spend $200,000, $300,000 on that. Hacking music is much more targeted, much more up to date, much more actionable. Obviously, I'm biased, but that's the truth of it. And then we look at the tech. The tech is the back office, the automation. It's the revenue part of it. It's the SaaS tools. It's the stuff that works for you while you're sleeping, right? And then as we move over into team, you have your co-ventures. You have your strategic partnerships, your expansion, all the kind of mind hive brain trust around you in your career. It could be your manager, it could be your publisher, it could be your label, all those different things. They work together and hit the same target. Ideally, that's what they're to do. Your strategic partnerships, right? So you have your talent, you have your training, your technology, and your team. And it's important here that you really can't start with team, right? You can't start with tech. You have to have talent first. Then that, if you have that, or most of that, could be 70 or 80% of it defined, then you kind of think about your training, right? Once you have those 2 things, and if you're lucky enough to have those 2 things, then you kind of move on to your technology platform, your support mechanisms. Then if you have talent, training, and tech, then it makes sense to move into team. Okay, so you don't want to kind of do these in other orders because they'll backfire and implode and it'll be ugly. So that's talent, training, and tech. These are the 4 tenets of hacking music. And what we do at Hacking Music is we drill down on the training components of your career. You could take care of your talent. We're not going to teach you how to write your music or produce your music. That's kind of ground game, table stakes. You should be able to figure that out, right? But where we pick it up is So let's move forward. Why this is important? Because training is super important because your mental mindset touches everything you do. So if we can change one of the small things, that's guaranteed to change all the big things. It's your mind. It's how you think about yourself, your fans, your product, your business. It changes everything. So we want to get your mind in a condition to advance when everybody else is trying to win a contest, or trying to go golfing in the dark, or try to be all things to all people, or implode on the runway. Let them do that, but we want to get your mind in a condition to advance and stay focused and to hit targets while everybody else is imploding. So let's talk about kind of how Hacking Music was born. So Hacking Music is a field guide for the modern music marketplace. You could think of it as a recipe book. A dozen or so of the things came out of a joint venture with Garth Brooks' company. 10 of the things from Hacking Music came out of being a writer-producer for Sony Tree for a number of years. A dozen things from Hacking Music came from winning an American Music Award. A dozen or so things from Hacking Music came out of the Song of the Year, Video of the Year nominations. A dozen parts of Hacking Music came from doing thousands of sync licenses, right? So it really distilled everything we've done in the past and put it into an actionable, digestible tool for you. We like to say our hindsight can be your foresight. It's a recipe book of things we've learned after playing on 22 hit singles, 15 that charted in the top 10, 6 that reached number 1, after raising almost $20 million for our portfolio companies, and after training students at Belmont University and Harvard University. So it's a field guide, a recipe book of everything we've learned, being in some very high-level co-ventures with different companies and entities over the years. So let's look at our talent training technology and team here. Most artists are built like this. They're focused on their talent alone, and their training is truncated, their tech is truncated, and their team is truncated, right? So I like to think of this as a root system for 2 trees. Think of it as 2 trees. We recently moved out to a farm in Tennessee, been chainsawing a bunch of trees. Not my favorite thing, but I understand root systems. So this is a root system of this artist right here. She's really focused on talent alone and really hasn't built a root system to support the rest of the tree's life, right? So that tree is not going to make it through the year. Maybe it'll flood, maybe it'll blow over, who knows, but that tree's root systems isn't built to support it. So what Hacking Music does is we take the 4 T's of talent, training, tech, and team, and that root system holds up a tree, right? You can think of it like this tree. It's got nutrients, it's got water, it's healthy, it's deep, it's wide, it's not going anywhere. It's not at a risk for being blown over in a storm or a flood. It is healthy, it's not going anywhere, right? So that is what Hacking Music does. It takes your talent, training, tech, and team, and it builds a moat around them to where we plug in the essentials, the frameworks, force multipliers, automation, e-com, productization, promotion, doing deals, business models, the hundreds or so other things that we fill in throughout Hacking Music around your talent, training, technology, and team, to where you, as an artist, you have a moat built around you, just like the root system of this tree. You're not going anywhere. You're healthy, and you're going to make it. Okay, so that's a quick overview of Hacking Music, how Hacking Music works, and we'll see you on the next one.